In 1986, Dr. Robert Holmes, a noted Methodist minister and Christian thinker, wrote a book titled Why Jesus Never Had Ulcers. Now, obviously, Dr. Holmes's book was not a clinical study of the physical health of Jesus. Rather, it was a spiritual piece, a literary spiritual piece about the life of Jesus and what he did that made him happy, fulfilled, and healthy. It was a book about the traits of Jesus, the disciplines of Jesus, the habits of Jesus, the practices of Jesus that made him happy, healthy, and fulfilled. And so this morning, I want to share with you 5 things that were a part of Jesus' life, 5 practices within Jesus' life, 5 qualities in Jesus' life that helped him be happy, healthy, and fulfilled, so that you and I too can be happy, healthy, and fulfilled. First of all, Jesus spent dedicated time with God. One of the primary reasons that Jesus was happy and healthy and fulfilled was he spent dedicated time with God. There's this revealing scene here in Mark 1 when they come to Bethsaida, to the home of Peter and Andrew, and after healing Peter's mother-in-law, the crowds come to Jesus, he heals them, and then the very next morning, Mark says, he gets up very early while it was still dark. He goes off far away from the home of Peter and Andrew, and he spends a long time in prayer. So much time that Peter and the other disciples come looking for him, wondering where he is and what he's doing. You see, Jesus knew something. Jesus knew he could not handle the stresses and strains of life if he did not take time to be away, time to break away, and time to be at rest with God. There was a scientific study done several years ago with monkeys where they played throughout the day the various sounds and noises that permeate our lives. And so throughout the day, these monkeys would hear these sounds: a running shower, people talking and even shouting, phone ringing, radio blaring, television playing, cars driving by and cars honking, dogs barking, sirens going off periodically, the dishwasher running, the sound of someone typing on a computer. So throughout the day, these monkeys would hear all these sounds that permeate our lives. And after 9 months, you can imagine the results. They found that their blood pressure was up highly, that they exhibited erratic behavior, and that their agitations about things had grown. Now, it's not just the noises that permeate our lives. It's the responsibilities we bear. It's the challenges that come our way. It's the fatigue that we experience simply because life brings us so much, some of which we choose. It is foolish for anyone to believe that you can be happy and healthy and fulfilled and not find rest. And in particular, not find rest in God. Secondly, Jesus avoided unhealthy worry. In the 6th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus has much to say, as I think you know, about worry. In particular, he says, "Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life?" Most of us know that verse. Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Can worrying in any way enhance your life? Now, everybody worries. There is no such thing as a person who doesn't worry. We all worry at one time or another about something or the other. What Jesus is addressing is debilitating worry, excessive worry, life-draining worry. And let me tell you what the antidote to excessive, life-draining, debilitating worry is. It's a prayer you know and a prayer I know. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You want to battle excessive worry in your life? Then start with discerning what can be set aside, accepted, and what must be addressed. Realize that there are some things in your life and in mine, past, present, and future, that are what they are, and there's nothing you can do to change it, and nothing I can do to change it, and we can worry about it all day long, and that's not going to change a thing, is it? God grant me the strength, the serenity, to understand there are some things that I just have to accept. I may not like them, but I have to accept them. And God grant me the strength to have courage, though, to address the things that I can change, the things I can do something about, the things that I don't just worry about, I become proactive to address them. Every one of us worries. But God intends that we not worry excessively. And Jesus models for us what it means to accept the things we cannot change, to have courage to change what we can and not just worry about it, and to know the difference between what should be accepted and what needs to be addressed. Thirdly, Jesus had a clear sense of purpose. Jesus knew that he was called to higher things. Jesus knew that he was on this earth called to higher things. I don't know if you read recently the story about Grant Disney or not, D-E-S-M-E. Grant in 2009 was signed by the athletics baseball team, the Oakland Athletics baseball team, to a contract to play in their farm league. He was one of the most promising prospects that the Oakland Athletics had ever seen. And so in 2009, he began his baseball career there, had an outstanding year. At the end of the year, he was the most valuable player in the Arizona Farm League. He was the 8th highest prospect in the Oakland Athletics farm team system. So this is a young man who had the world before him. Wealth, fame, front page of Sports Illustrated. He had it all. And 2 years ago, Grant Disney left baseball to go into the Catholic priesthood. And he wrote this: I was doing very well in baseball, but I had to get down to the bottom of things, to what was good in my life, what I wanted to do with my life. Baseball is a good thing, but I felt God was calling me more. I love the game, but I'm going to aspire to higher things. And what stands out for me about Grant Disney is that he caught the Spirit of Jesus in understanding that life is ultimately about higher things. Now let me tell you this morning, you don't have to leave your job. You don't have to be a missionary in some third world country. You don't have to become a preacher or a priest or go off to some religious order in order to realize that you're meant for higher things. Every single one of you, every single one of us is meant for higher things, right where we are, in the job you now have, in the family of which you're now a part, in the place that you call home, in the community where you reside. You don't have to leave anything in order to understand that your life is meant for more than just being and doing and existing. And no one will ever be fully fulfilled, ever fully happy, and ever fully spiritually healthy if we don't get that. If we don't get like Jesus, we are called to higher things. Fourthly, Jesus knew the joy of kindness. You could go outside the Christian religion. You don't have to stay within the Christian religion. Go outside the Christian religion, ask any Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist, or ask an agnostic or ask an atheist to tell you about Jesus of Nazareth, and every single one of them who knows anything about him at all will tell you that Jesus of Nazareth was compassionate, kind, loving, caring. Not just Christians. People of all the great world religions, people who are outside the faith, every single person knows that Jesus of Nazareth was kind and compassionate and caring and loving. You know that. Rebecca talked about it in her message with the children. There's this interesting scene here in Mark 1 where, again, they come to Bethsaida. They come to Peter and Andrew's home. He heals Peter's mother-in-law. And then Mark says, they brought to him all the sick and demon-possessed. All. Not just some. Not just a bunch. Not just a group. Not just those who had tickets. Not just those who could get in. They brought to him all who were sick and demon-possessed. And Mark says that Jesus went about healing all. Because inherent in the heart and spirit of Jesus was the truth that there is nothing better in life than being kind to other people and being caring of other people. You know, kindness is its own reward, don't you? Who are the happiest people alive? Are they the wealthy? Perhaps, if they're kind. Is it about status or recognition or position or education? I don't think there's a one of us in this sanctuary that would disagree with the truth. The happiest people in life are the people who are the kindest, who are naturally kind to other people. I don't believe you can find what real happiness is about unless you are naturally kind, as Jesus was. Finally, Jesus trusted the eternal outlook. Jesus trusted the eternal outlook. Now, what is the eternal outlook? It's that life isn't defined just by what goes on here and now. The eternal outlook says that good comes not just in this life, but if necessary, beyond this life. The eternal outlook is the big picture of things. It's all ultimately good. Jesus epitomized that on the cross when he said, Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit. Absolute trust that it's good. I don't know if you read just a few days ago about the death of Zach Sobich or not, or even if you know the story of Zach Sobich or not. Zach Sobich died on May the 20th, just this past Monday. Zach Sobich had just turned 18 years of age. Let me tell you a story. At age 14 in 2009, Zach Sobich was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, cancer of the bone. Went through chemotherapy, went through various other treatments, went through radiation, was cancer-free for a while, but then in 2012, May of last year, the cancer reappeared, and it appeared in his pelvis and his lung, and Zach Sobich, then 17 years of age, was told that he had just a few months to live, at most a year. And he made about a year from the time the doctors told him that the cancer was truly terminal, and he had a relatively short period of time. Well, let me tell you what Zach Sobich did. Zach had always wanted to form a band. So he got his best friend and some others, and they formed a band called A Firm Handshake. And Zach began to write songs about life and death, heaven and hope. One of the songs he wrote is called Sandcastle, and it has these words: I'll collect some shells and you move the sand. We'll build our little sandcastle in a far-off land where no one gets hurt and no one dies, and your tears are scared of leaving your eyes. Teenager. And his farewell song is titled Clouds. It's on YouTube. It's been viewed by more than 4 million people. And it has these words: and we'll go up, 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 but I'll fly a little higher. We'll go up in the clouds because the view is a little nicer. Up here, my dear, it won't be long now, it won't be long now, and we'll go up, 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 up. Zach Sobich, like Jesus, had an eternal perspective. Life is good, not essentially because of what goes on here, but because one has the big picture. That life is good because all of it's from God. I don't know if Jesus had ulcers. I doubt it. But I know this. As Robert Holmes says, he was happy, he was healthy, and he was fulfilled. I want to be happy and healthy and fulfilled, and you do too, don't you? Well, I think there are 5 things we must do. We must spend dedicated time with God. We must find a way to handle the excessive worries of our lives. We must realize that we're meant for higher things, not just being, doing, and living. We must make kindness a natural part of our everyday lives. And we must not lose the eternal perspective. All is good. Thanks be to God. Amen. I call your attention now to the affirmation of faith, which is found